For real though, like, how are we even going to do this? Ladies and gentlemen, all right, we have a few issues to deal with, and I want to make sure this is clear here, and I don't want to keep repeating myself. So what we're going to do is, many of you are excited about the theme weeks. That's been something I've very much been looking forward to. Leveling the characters to 60 was the best fun I've had in the Shadowlands in quite some time, because I just got to play. That's it. I just got to play the game. But now they're level 60. And then comes the hills, the obstacles, the things we need to do. And of course, when you're doing so many characters, everything is magnified massively. So I've been umming and ahhing about what to do. I've been trying to keep some things going, such as do the world boss on every character. Not for really for gear, but it's free renown. You can get a piece of gear. You get some good conduit stuff from there. 9.1 is going to change things a little bit in terms of getting immediate gear, but what's not going to change is the usual stuff. Getting renown is not really going to change. It might boost us quickly to 40, but then the grind will start again. And also acquiring legendaries is a huge issue that I am struggling with. And I'm not here to bash on Torghast, but as you can imagine, when I make content for you guys, as I have done for the last like 9 years, I want a character you can kind of relate to, that makes some goddamn sense. And being on a character that has like no legendaries, no conduits or anything like that, just doesn't make any sense. It's just going to be a lesser viewing experience, and more importantly, a lesser gameplay experience for me. However, that comes with a number of issues, right? So I've been doing the Druid for the last day or so, and the Druid needs at least 4, right? At least 4 legendaries, just for that one character. Then we look at like the Death Knight, the Paladin, and it goes on and on and on, right? Even a Rogue, you can pick some legendaries, which is what the advice was from several people, is why don't you just pick a legendary you can play on all 3 specs that's okay? Because I hate playing World of Warcraft that way. That's why. It's as simple as that. I don't want the okay legendary. I want the good one for my spec. That's the one I'm after. So as you can imagine, that is a lot of Torghast, guys. I mean, so much Torghast. I actually took the entirety of Sunday away from my family to just do Torghast, which sucked, but it was worthwhile because I'm going on a mini vacation at the weekend to Alton Towers. So it was a good opportunity to get that done. So this is going to be bog standard for every character. That's why I wanted to do this first. I wanted to take you through the process so that no matter what character we jump into, you will know what I have done. Because 9.1 is still a long way away, and I want to get started before 9.1 launches. It's likely to be July, August, something like that for 9.1. It's far too long for me to want to play these characters. It's as simple as that. I can wait for more catch-up systems, just as many people do, but it's not going to be very fun. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to invest my time into one class very specifically. And on that character, I'm going to use the auction house to buy all my stuff, which I'm really on the fence with, because at this point, I don't know if you guys have realized this, going to the auction house and buying all like 168 gear and maybe a legendary base piece to get your item level up so you can just do whatever you want is about the same cost as being boosted in Heroic. Now, that sounds gross, and it is, but it is reality as well. It's kind of the same price to just be ran through Castle Nathria and come out with a smattering of Heroic pieces. That's just the nature of how cheap it is now to just be dragged along in some Heroic boost. But I'm not going to do that because I personally just don't want to do that. So I'm going to go to the auction house. I'm going to get all the 168 gear. In fact, that is done for every single character. From there, I'm going to have to do the campaign. We've got to get them soulbinds unlocked. 9.1 might make that quicker. There's some things like Renown Boost and things like that that have been data mined. Yet again, it's just going to take too long. So I'm going to do the entire campaign. I've already done the Night Fae campaign 5 times now, and it's rough. And then boost that gear up with the anima you collect. That's one of the reasons I'm doing the world boss every week, is the world boss gives 250 anima. So even if I'm not focused on a certain class for that week, I'm still getting 250 anima, which then goes to just boosting this gear up to like 200 plus, which is really nice because you got all that 197 gear, which is really cool. I mix it with a couple of, I'm also doing Side Denathrius on every character because it takes like 10 minutes, assuming they don't wipe. I had a couple of groups who could not meet the DPS check of Side Denathrius, even though everyone was alive. That was a little scary. Not gonna lie, that was weird. But it happened. I was there. I didn't film it. I should have, but I mean, I just didn't expect it, right? It was just so surprising. Also, for a chance at just a nice weapon to get us started jumping into Mythic Plus and doing all the stuff we want to do on these characters, but also you get really quick renown from there. I'm certainly not clearing LFR on all these characters for renown, although it is a really efficient source of renown. Doing it like times at least 9 is too much. We're not going to do that. I am going to... Part of this series, of course, is for me to try and decide a new main. I am leaning in certain directions, like Elemental Shaman is really on my radar. Rogue is really on my radar. I'm really kind of enjoying those classes right now. So I've done the Rogue, and I've done the Druid, and I'm going to be doing the Shaman next, so I can play around with it a bit more. So after that, it's going to be Torghast to get the legendaries for each of the specs, the best legendaries. I'm keeping a close, watchful eye on the PTR in order to see whether this is going to change going forward. But until that point, I'm just going to roll as normal. At worst, it's a couple of extra Torghast runs in a smattering of 100 plus Torghast runs, which is... It is what it is. What are you going to do? We can deal with that because we're going to be Soul Cinders anyway. The whole purpose of this process that I'm going through right now is simply to be in a state from 9.1 where all the characters can just go. That's where I want to be. I want to be in a situation where all my characters can just go. If we want to jump into some heroic pugging, if we want to do anything like that, these characters are more than capable of doing that. So probably the best bet is to get into heroic and do... I'm not intending to do mythic on any of these characters in preparation for 9.1. Get into heroic, do our weekly 15s on each of these characters, and we'll start doing them. We're not going to do 12 times 15s every single week. That's going to be insane. But we'll mix it in with the other content we're going to make. So that is the plan as it stands so far. But I'm going to do this for literally every class and spec. I know some people are asking for like thoughts. I know that Asmon posted a big tweet longer about stuff like this. It blows my mind like how awkward it is to get a character in a good position. This is supposed to be the alt-friendly expansion. Yes, I'm definitely magnifying the problem onto myself. But in counter to that, and I think it's a fair counter to that, I've done this for every expansion since Mists of Pandaria, and or Cataclysm even. It's never been like this. It's awful. It's absolutely awful, especially if you're doing the campaigns. The amount of Torghast that it throws at you, because it's not just the Torghast runs for Soul Ash, it throws more at you for like the story and the campaign. It's like, oh, well, you need to go and help Tyrande or whatever, so now you need to go into fucking Torghast again. So you end up doing like 5 or 6 runs, and they're not fun runs either. They just go in and do a bit of story stuff like a scenario, but it's still the same place over and over again, right? It's still Torghast over and over and over again. So it's pretty rough. So I'm going to take my time with it because I don't want to burn out. That's the thing. I don't want to burn out on this. I'm throwing some hours at it. I'm having fun until I stop having fun, and then I'm calling it a stop, which means it's not going to be super soon for a lot of these characters. Like, that's what I really wanted to get out here is I know people are excited to see how we feel about Warlocks and things like that. I'm excited about that too. Frankly, the game is hamstringing me pretty hardcore in exploring that in the way I want to explore it, in the way I've traditionally explored it on the channel. So that's where we're at, guys. All right. So on top of that, everything else is remaining pretty much bog standard, but I'm not going to do like when we do a themed week. I don't want the first video of every theme week to be like we went to Torghast and got the legendaries and did all that stuff. I want you to take that for granted as yes, we did do that, and I'll probably show the character at the start. But my goal with this is to explore in depth the character. Because BFA crushed alts for me. And as you guys know, especially those of you who've been with us for many years, I play every single class and spec in this game as much as I humanly can because I enjoy the gameplay. I enjoy playing the game. But I can't do it I could do it in a lesser gear state because gear is always growing. You know, you can always get more gear. That's always possible. But to be unable to, like, you know, take advantage of conduits and legendary effects and things like that is just not playing the character in the way I want it to happen. So I'm going to take my time with it, is to be honest with you guys. I'm going to take my time with it because purely it's a mountain that I have to climb. And again, I don't want to make this video every single time we start. And, you know, balance week, we went to Torghast and fucking got all the legendaries. I don't want to do that either. So that is the nature of what's happening there. So 2 messages there. That's how I'm going to be doing it. And 2, it is going to be a little while before we're in a position to really invest. Because when we start rolling out, I want to get rolling with it, because the issue we have when we discuss any class or focus on a class on the channel, historically, when's mine? Right? That's the question the audience have. It's like, I can't wait to... When are you going to do Warlock? When are you going to do Warrior? And I want to be in a position to be like, we're going to be doing it soon. Right? Not in 6 weeks, 6 weeks or something like that when we can get around to it. So I'm going to get them all set up now, then we can jump in. All right, guys? So thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry it's going to be a while, but I mean, hopefully you understand why, because it's so much stuff. All right, guys. Bye-bye.